What's up, y'all? How you feeling? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the weekly or bi-weekly live stream by yours truly, DubDigital. Good to see you guys again. Who I got here? If you're on X, welcome. I got a YouTube channel too. Follow me, please. If you're on YouTube, follow me on X. Why not? A little cross promo never hurt anybody. At least too much. Bitcoin ETF. That's what we're going to be talking about today. The last live stream that we did was anticipating the Bitcoin ETF. We even caught the fake out by the SEC, Gary Gensler, their supposed hack, on live. That was hot. That was historic. But now we're back. The very first day that the Bitcoin ETF, spot Bitcoin ETF, is trading. And Bitcoin's price seems more volatile than ever. I think there's a lot of good things coming out of the pike for 2024. But before I get into it, who do I got here? I see I got 4 peoples. Love it. Gotta know. Say what's up to the peeps. How you been? Guys feeling good? Happy? Sad? Crypto's up. That counts for something. Or at least it should. What's up, y'all? How you feeling? I got some videos we're going to go over today. Just reactions of the ETF passing. Hopefully we can hear it together. But before we do that, though, let's say what's up. I'll give people some time to filter on in here. I do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Given the state of the market, I've been mulling over the direction of the channel. A lot of things happen very fast in crypto. Maybe I'll do some more live streams more often, but I'd like to give some feedback from you guys before I do that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we could work up the daily. That'd be cool. Stay on top of the news. I know you guys are busy people, and that's what I like to do. Help you guys out with things that are difficult for you, like staying up on the news. I can do that for you. Just let me know what you feel. 6 people, what's good? Super Nerf, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Got a killer beard. I'm trying to work my way up to it, man, but damn. It's rough out here. I've been growing this for years. I know. I see some people, they grow their beard out so fast. I'm like, God damn it. But I'm proud, man. I'm proud. 7 people, what's goody? Let me show my stuff real quick while I have you before we get into the nitty gritty. Here is my YouTube channel. If you're on X, please subscribe. And by the way, guys, if you can give me a thumbs up on this stream, that'd be great. Helps me get in front of more people. And ultimately, that helps us if we spread the crypto ethos. That's my YouTube channel. And let me pop up my X account real quick. And we'll get going. And this is me on X. DubDigital with 2 U's because someone took my name. Check me out. There it is. I don't know. I might expand the platforms, but right now that's where I'm at, y'all. How you guys feeling? How you guys doing? ETFs finally approved. We've been waiting for this since 2017. A lot of people were saying, okay, a lot of people are expecting it. It might not happen. I was a little skeptical on the exact day. But it looked like that wasn't really a hack now, was it? They probably had some intern fat finger that sending the communication out about the passing. Here we go. Tito, how you feeling? Damn, man. Can dogs even drink alcohol? What? I know, man. It's about time. We've had something exciting happen in crypto. Am I right? Like, dang, man. That last bear market was like hard and a half. I mean, every bear market's kind of hard and a half, right? It feels that way. But I think we finally turned the corner. We're coming out the other end of this tunnel. And a lot of people talked about the ETF being priced in, this and that. But like we've talked about it before, right? How do you really price in an ETF? The ETF is a financial product. Yes, you could maybe guesstimate how much the funds want to put in, but the fund's ultimately at the mercy of the demand of the customers. We can't really gauge the demand. No one can, right? And if these things are wildly popular, and I have a feeling they will, It's going to be hot. Oh, it's going to be hot. Because do you really think they're going to release these products and not have a huge marketing push behind them? I think that they will. I think that they will, y'all. Who packed up Zcash under 20? Me. Hey, that's hot. I got some Zcash too. See my bags bleeding to death for too long. They were bleeding down, but now we see some beautiful green candles, don't we? Let's hop over to CoinMarketCap. Everyone likes to look at CoinMarketCap when the number go up, but when it's going down, I ignore it. Let's check it out. Screen share. What am I trying to share? The hell do I want to share? This. Share my audio too. Check it out, y'all. Bitcoin actually reached up to 49,000 earlier today. We'll hop on over. Look at that. Bang. Almost 49,000. This is the 47,000 happened last time. This probably happened because some insiders got word that was going to go down. So we'll check it out and let's just keep zooming out. I do always suggest never look at it like zoomed up in the 1 day. Always go to the all-time chart so you have some reference as where this thing is going to go, right? I started Bitcoin down here, 2013-ish, around here somewhere. Now it's all the way up here. During that time, there's been ups and downs, but you know what happens? This whole thing looks like a giant parabola. And we're climbing up into the exponential phase. Now, there probably will be some pullbacks, but whatever. Y'all went through a 80%, 90% pullback right here. So who really cares? But look what's happening based off this news, and this is why everyone calls Bitcoin the God market in crypto. Bitcoin's up, what, in 24 hours? 2, 3%. Over the last 7 days, 7%. If we filter it, 45%, 41%. My baby, Ethereum Classic, 36%. This is what happens when Bitcoin does well. It raises all ships. It's going to be beautiful because after people make enough money in crypto, in Bitcoin, maybe the ETF holders won't transition their money, but they'll actually provide more of a floor under Bitcoin than we've probably ever seen before because they're buy and hold. And they're all convinced that Bitcoin, well, they can only get into Bitcoin right now, but they're also buy and holders. They're 401ks or pension funds. They're not jumping in and out like degens like us. But there are degens who have crypto already, and they're going to transition their wealth all over the crypto space. It's going to trickle down. And we're seeing some of that already. 3% up on Bitcoin, 40% up on some of these other coins. And this thing's just getting started. It's about to get a lot more volatile. Big pullbacks, big shots up. And I think 2024 is going to be an awesome, awesome year. But while I have you guys here, let's just listen together really quick of the ETF announcement itself. Let me know in the chat if you cannot hear it.
Breaking news around all of this. Kate Rooney has more on this decision by the SEC. Kate.
Hi, Morgan. We are just getting word from the SEC that a wave of Bitcoin ETFs have been approved. The SEC just putting out a statement saying that 11 of these have gotten the green light to trade in the U.S. We do expect them to start trading tomorrow based on what some of the exchanges have said earlier in the day. The CBOE said that those spot Bitcoin ETFs will begin trading tomorrow. I have a statement here from Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, that he talks about some of the risks involved here. He says, though we're merit neutral, he would note the underlying assets when he talks about Bitcoin are primarily speculative, volatile assets that are also used for illicit activity, including ransomware, money laundering, sanction evasions, and terrorist financing. So he does, in the same breath as approving these Bitcoin ETFs, mention some of the illicit use cases. He says, while we approved the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products and shares today, he says we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Investors should remain cautious about the myriad of risks associated with Bitcoin products whose value are tied to crypto. But Morgan and John, this is a long-awaited milestone for the asset class, really seen as this legitimizing moment and a way for cryptocurrencies to enter the mainstream investing landscape. You've got the largest asset managers in the world on that list I mentioned of those approved. BlackRock, you've got Fidelity on that list. It is seen as a way to bring some more safety and stability into these markets. And again, a big moment and highly anticipated for this asset class. So as of tomorrow, people will have the option to hold Bitcoin in their brokerage accounts next to your regular old stocks and equities. So a big moment here, guys. Back.
Wow, 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 wow. What a historic day. Give me a thumbs up on the video if you feel it. Come on, yo. Please, please. Please support the homie. But yeah, man. Finally, these things come, and they approved all of them at the same time. It's kind of funny. It seems a little, what do you call it? Coordinated. But hey, everyone's cold and calculated nowadays, man. Let's go ahead and look at what the hater Gary said on X. If you're considering an investment involving crypto assets, be cautious. Crypto asset securities may be marketed as new opportunities, but there are serious risks involved. And they released a whole damn article hating on it. Let's check it out. Why not? Why not? Should you or shouldn't you be buy the latest new cryptocurrency or token? I could tell you how many people have come up to me and asked if they should invest in Bitcoin. I recently conducted an investor education program at a retirement community, and a woman said to me, "My children keep telling me I need to hurry up and invest in Bitcoin. Is it safe? Have I already missed the boat?" Seniors are not only the ones interested in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency related investments. Millennials are also jumping on the bandwagon. While I can't give investment advice about Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency related investment or product, I can provide advice on some things you should consider when deciding if an investment is right for you. Perhaps the most important thing is to know is that cryptocurrency related investment markets are very different than our regulated securities market. For example, our securities law provide important protections that you may not be getting when dealing in cryptocurrency related investments. In many cases, you may not know exactly who you're dealing with, where your money is going, or what you're getting in return. For more detailed information, you could check out the Office Investor Education Advocacy Investor Bulletin on ICO. Who's going to do that? These digital assets have been trending and receiving the attention of celebrities, often through endorsements. You may see them on social media, radio or TV promoting Bitcoin, and a variety of other products and services. Never make an investment decision based solely on celebrity endorsements. Just because your favorite celebrity says a product or service is a good investment doesn't mean it is. Always do thorough independent research of the product. Trendy investments are especially ripe for fraudsters, so be aware there is a real risk of fraud. Scam artists prey upon the news of an investment opportunity when there isn't as much history about the product. It also is easier to sell an investor on everyone is buying it sales pitch when there is a lot of buzz about certain investment products. The pressure to buy the product right away mounts. Don't fall for the high-pressure sales tactics, the promise to guarantee returns, or too good to be true claims. You should check out the red flags of investment fraud on investor.gov, as well as check to see if the investment professional you're dealing with is registered. What the hell? Take time to make the right investment decisions for you. Ask questions and demand clear answers. You can find sample questions such as, who exactly am I contracting with? And what will my money be used for here? You should understand if you lose money, there is a real chance the SEC and other regulators won't be able to help you recover your investment, even in cases of fraud. If you do choose to purchase digital currencies or tokens, recognize that they are new. There are many significant risks involving in putting your money into something that hasn't been around very long. A good rule of thumb when investing in a new product is to only invest money that you're willing to lose, so that it's not financially devastating if the investment doesn't pan out. One way to spread risk is to diversify your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That way, if one of your investments loses money, the other investment can make up for it. What do you guys think? I mean, Gary sounds like he was forced to approve this thing. That's probably what happened. He waited to the very last day he had to make a decision and then let them all get approved. And he still came through with a bunch of shade saying he doesn't trust Bitcoin. He doesn't invest in it. He thinks it's hype. I mean, hey, it sounds like someone got on Gary's pocket, allegedly, but I don't really care. All I care about is we're finally past that hurdle. And what this ETF essentially does, guys, is it legitimizes not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Because they really can't come after too many more companies now that there's a bona fide financial product on the US stock exchanges that's open to a bunch of people now. It just doesn't mesh very well. So this is a overall, in my opinion, benefit for the cryptocurrency industry. Now, there's a lot of people that talk about it, and we've talked about it before, that say that this is not a net positive for crypto, that Wall Street is going to control Bitcoin. Well, newsflash, they've been controlling Bitcoin with the cash settled ETFs. That happened in 2017. Ever since then, Bitcoin's USD price has been muted, has been throttled. It doesn't move the same as it used to pre-2017. Now, with that said, they can't even control Bitcoin at all, right? They can't control who sends what to who. They can only control the USD price. But see, that's the problem. If you guys are in crypto, what the hell do you really care about the USD price other than you wanting to buy something in the USD system? If we went crypto to crypto, nothing changes at all. So to me, a net benefit is this. We still have that ability to send crypto back and forth. That's not even challenged. But might as well have the number go up too. I mean, damn, I don't really get it. People fighting the ETF. I don't get it at all. 12 people, what's goody? Anybody heard about holochain as an alternative to blockchain? I've heard of holochain. I haven't looked into it too much. I mean, there's a few technologies now. You got IoT, which has the Tangle, right? Which is IOTA, my bad. Then you got HBAR that has Hashgraph. Apparently holochain, what's the technology called? And then I believe Aptos. I'm not quite sure what they use either. But yeah, I mean, and in between there, you have a bunch of hybrid technologies that are mostly centralized, some blockchain in it. You'll really start to see that with the HBARs and stuff like that because they're focusing on private blockchains. Those are the two things, right? Everyone says, oh, this blockchain is not that decentralized. You got to understand why was the blockchain chain designed in the first place? Because there's whole entire projects not even trying to be decentralized like that. They know that companies don't want you to see all up in their stuff all the time. So what's going to really happen, and that's why I'm really focused on interoperability, is private blockchains are going to have to connect to public blockchains. If we're going to onboard Google and Boeing and Lockheed Martin and all these big industries that take IP and data and intellectual property very seriously, because that's what they sell, data and ideas. 10 people, what's good? But yep, that's what it's looking like, y'all. Check this out. BlackRock recently published a graphic published by Bitcoin.com. Check it. Bitcoin's performance compared to major asset classes. Bitcoin has high periods of performance and significant drawdowns 2013 to 2023. So you'll see that all the way up to here, the best performing asset that BlackRock offers is Bitcoin, 156% per year. Cumulative, over 300,000%. Annualized, 124%. The only one that comes close, and it doesn't even really come close, is the SPX, which is 13%. So now we're starting to see it become very clear. They're starting to paint the picture to their investors. They're saying, we have these opportunities. You could put your money here, get 12%, which is pretty good for for traditional returns. Or you can get 124% with Bitcoin. You pick. It's so ridiculously obvious. People are going to do it. Now I did see some things about Vanguard not allowing people to invest money into these products. Vanguard's about to lose a lot of money because people are already starting to transition their brokerages just today over to other places because everyone wants a piece of this Bitcoin. They heard about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's starting to go up. Wait till Bitcoin breaches all-time highs. I think it's going to get pretty frothy here, guys. And I think this move coming up might be pretty extended because they're not dropping it like it's hot. They're going to want to drop it. It's going to get a pretty big bear market because like once it starts going down low enough, they'll start dropping it. But I don't think we're in that phase right now. We're in the up phase. And they're buying and holding. They're getting sold the narrative that this is for the future. It's like a hodl. So we'll have to see. But what I see coming down the pike in the next few months, in the next year, is that we're going to be having some significant bases, some significant support under Bitcoin. And that's why I think this coming bull market is going to be a lot more like 2013. We could look at 2013. Can we? Yeah. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Log. All right. So this is the 2013 cycle, right? If you notice, you come up, we dip down, and there's extended time, then two big impulses up. 2017 was much different. You can see this bull structure, very even, very clean. It almost followed the stock to flow ratio perfectly. This obviously overperformed past the stock to flow. This stayed right on the line. Right here is when we started to see some deviation, right? With this COVID crash right here, it went below stock to flow. But then it started moving up pretty, sporadically, but didn't perform to the size that everyone thought. Right here, if you can see, the big pump up, comes down, consolidates, then shoots right out. Pump up, consolidates, and we've been consolidating for a very long time. I have a feeling that this looks more like this, while it's a little different structure, looks more like this, than this looks like this. I mean, it's obvious. This is very symmetrical. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. But I think this thing might pop up harder and faster than people think. Bob Lucas, if you guys don't follow Bob Lucas, I suggest following him. He's great he's a money manager. He talks about the possibility for a left translated cycle. Typically, everyone's used to cycles performing at the end of the year, right? Fourth quarter, December, January, usually very hot for crypto. But crypto tends to do something different every single time. It always throws people off. Just like last cycle, we didn't have that euphoria phase, threw people off. Wouldn't it throw people off if the blow off top happened in the first half of the year? All centering around the halving. Interesting. Let's check out what Kathy got to say. Kathy Wood. Got all these people who have now had their ETFs approved. Let's check it out. Okay, hold on. She's glitching, man. Reload.
I shouldn't say pricing, but the price of Bitcoin. You and I have had conversations now over many years where you talked about Bitcoin being worth something on the order of $500,000, literally in only a couple of years from now. Do you stand by that? How does this ETF change that, speed that up, slow it down? What do you think?
Yes, so you'll find in our big ideas, so that's at arc-invest.com, the building blocks for our price forecast. And our base case is in the $600,000 range. Our bull case, and we think the probability of the bull case has increased with this SEC approval. This is a green light. Our bull case is $1.5 million by 2030. You can see the building blocks. You can see how conservative we are in terms of those building blocks. This is a big idea. It is the first global, decentralized, digital, rules-based, critical there, rules-based monetary system in history. It is a very big idea.
And let me ask you the separate question, which is, do you believe that for it to get to those type of numbers, it has to become a currency, not just an asset? One of the things that Brian Armstrong was talking about is he thinks that this is just going to create a lot more interest in crypto across the board, and that is what's going to actually propel this and might even change the dynamic with which Bitcoin is being used, which is currently today as digital gold or something like that, but potentially actually could leapfrog into the currency that people have talked about for many years.
Yes, our first paper on this was in 2015. The white paper is still on our site. And we tried to figure out, could Bitcoin serve the three roles of money? Store of value, as you say, most people agree with that one. Means of exchange, unit of account. And the answer to that was yes. We put out a Bitcoin brainstorm with our partner Bitcoin Park in Nashville. And it examines the convergence of artificial intelligence and Bitcoin. And you'll hear his nickname's Roast Beef on that podcast talk about that convergence and how it's going to redefine the division of labor. It's probably going to put the gig economy on steroids. And it's starting already in the emerging markets, in Africa in particular. So it's very exciting. I don't think people understand how hard at work the developers around the world have been. Lightning Network is a big part of leveraging the base layer Bitcoin. So we're very excited. We're so happy that ARKB is going to be part of the ecosystem.
Big things coming, y'all. Now Wall Street's all up excited about it. They're going to be starting pushing their marketing campaigns like we talked about. Yeah, it's going to be hot. And this is something Bitcoin has never seen before. It's a big evolution in cryptocurrency's history. I've been in crypto for 10 years plus now. And it used to be you couldn't get people to say the word Bitcoin. Politicians wouldn't say Bitcoin. They'd laugh when they heard it. Now we have people investing in Bitcoin. I saw politicians admitting that they invest in Bitcoin. I think, what was it? Watcher Guru said that like a senator invested $65,000 in Ethereum because they have to declare their trades. This is insane. This is awesome. Good day. Don't forget, we still early. You know, we're early. We're not that early, but we're early. You know, like over the long term, yeah. You know, but for this cycle, now they're letting retail in. You know what that means? Like we're waiting for the blow off. They're preparing the blow off. The epic God candle blow off. Oh man. We deserve it, don't we? Oh yeah, we deserve it. Hell yeah, we deserve it. Way to get through the bear market. You guys are real ones. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a subscribe, y'all. If I got any new people here, I do this twice a week for now. I might do more. 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's very conversational. Let me know, what are you guys thinking? What are you guys doing? What are you buying? What are you excited for? I gotta know. There's also been Bitcoin ETF commercials that have been eking out. Very exciting stuff, because this is basically what people are going to see. I mean, we've probably all seen the Bitwise one. If you haven't, hell, that's why you come here. I'll help you out. 1 second.
You know what's interesting these days? Bitcoin. Look for Bitwise, my friends.
Bitcoin ETFs are coming, and you're not ready. I didn't share this commercial.
Whoa. That wasn't the actual commercial. My bad, dude. Don't strike me down on copyright. Interesting. That was the dude from Dos Equis. Most interesting man on earth. Talking about Bitcoin. That's because Bitcoin's the most interesting money on earth. Hey. Will you invest in the Bitcoin ETF? Hell no. Why would I invest in the Bitcoin ETF? I got Bitcoins. This product's not for us though, to be honest. It's not for us. Because let's be quite frank here. It's a good thing in terms of letting more normal people get into Bitcoin, raising the market cap of Bitcoin, but it's still an inferior product to actual Bitcoin, right? Like whenever you put someone in between you and your Bitcoin, what typically happens over history? You usually lose that Bitcoin. Where have we seen that? Silk Road. Well, I guess not Silk Road, Mt. Gox, Celsius, FTX, BlockFi, fill in the blank. Anytime you trust someone with your Bitcoin, you usually get split with your Bitcoin. That's what counterparty risk is. And that's why Bitcoin was invented. So you could be your own central bank. So you can be your own bank. You can go anywhere in the world with either a wallet here or on a piece of paper or however you want to store your seed phrase. And you can have just as much money where you're at versus where you're going. And that, my friends, is financial autonomy. But whenever you put a brokerage in front of you and your Bitcoin, now you're trusting someone to come through on their promise. And sometimes companies they fall flat on their promise, not because they want to, but because someone like Sam Bankman-Fried starts trading customer funds and then bankrupts the whole ecosystem. You know what I mean? Because greed is strong in crypto. And I talk about it all the time. Greed will get you. And it usually is what screws up the ecosystem every once in a while. Because people can't help themselves. When money's easy to make, it's easy to lose. 12 people, it's good. You're a cutie. Thank you. Thank you. But put on sunscreen, you know. Trying to stay young. There's a couple more commercials. Let's see if we can find the grayscale. Yeah. Oh no. I thought I saw it. Damn. My bad. What do you guys think? You guys think? Let me know. I think it's gonna be very exciting stuff. Very, very exciting stuff. Bitcoin, yeah. It's been going up. I think it'll go up more. It'll come back. It'll be a very volatile ride. Very volatile ride. But you know what? It's always a volatile ride. And the altcoin market, I think, is starting to respond. I talked about the Bitcoin dominance. And if you're new, if you're joining me for the first time, please give me a like. Please give me a subscribe. I appreciate it to the max. Trading view. Let me pull up Bitcoin dominance. And I'll show you guys how when the Bitcoin dominance falls, altcoins respond. And the reason I show you guys this, I want you guys to know how the market moves. So if we can't meet up anymore, you can navigate this market by yourself. Let me show you. I'm all about teaching a man how to fish, or woman. I don't discriminate. But I made this call right around here in, I think it was October, that we're in a rising wedge, just like we were in 2021. This is Bitcoin dominance, all the money wrapped up in Bitcoin. When green candles happen, money's flowing into Bitcoin. When red happens, money's flowing out of Bitcoin. Now, it can only go two places. Well, I guess it can go three. Stable coins into USD, but typically people go into stable coins or altcoins. Historically speaking, money starts to flow out the ecosystem when it's going up because people see Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as safety. They want to be safe. So you'll start to see people get in their alts into Bitcoin because it's a bigger market cap. It goes down less. But at that point, money's also eking out of the ecosystem. So during these times going down, that typically means there's like some greed there. There's a wealth effect there. People are reinvesting their profits into altcoins. And this is a reversal pattern at some point. Usually these kind of patterns, you could fall out from the last third. We're well into the last third. We're damn near at the point. It's funny that this whole pattern resolves right at the time the halving is expected. What does that mean? I don't know. What happened before? I don't know. But what I am telling you is that there's a greater chance for this pattern to resolve to the downside than there is to the upside. Usually this is a pattern of exhaustion, right? So we'll see. We will see. But I don't know how low this will go. But what I will say is it probably can go at least down, because this is a measured move, about 30%. This last drop down was 45%, but know that this is just the last support line, where the last time we dropped. The very lowest we've ever gone was in 2017, and that was 35% Bitcoin dominance. But I will tell you this, there's no reason it can't break below. That would be interesting to see. But once you hit here, you probably want to start, taking some profits. Because there's no guarantees in life, y'all. Ain't no guarantees. Do you have a strategy for taking profits from now to the top of the market? I have bags that I'm going to pull way before because I believe less in them. There's other ones that I think typically my blue chips that have a greater chance of keep on running, right? The smaller the market cap, the faster the up, the faster the down. So I'll pull those. But in terms of that, I look at it in terms of I'm going to let go of this bag first, this bag second, this one last. Do you know what I mean? Like a hierarchy. Do I have set out numbers? Not really. I could refine that a little bit. But what I'm really looking at is a Bitcoin dominance chart. I'm going to look at when the RSI on the Bitcoin dominance is oversold. When it starts getting oversold, I'm going to start taking aggressive profits and leaving some bags to ride, right? But I'm not going to guess, I'm going to get out right around here. I'm going to navigate it, use the market as my compass, right? But I do know my number I need to secure me for a while, right? So that's what I say. No one hits the top, right? Hey, damn, my dog be tripping. He's tripping. No one knows the top, but if you know your number, you could probably get to the next top. I know my number. I know what I need. But here's the thing too. You don't want to get to just your number and pull everything because crypto typically goes higher than you expect. And what's the point of going through all this bear market if you can't capture most of the move? But I think one of the main indicators is once Bitcoin dominance is falling down towards the lows or that support around 40%. And then we're in blue sky breakout on Bitcoin. Whenever the altcoins are out on blue sky breakout, I think that's a good time. You can start taking significant amounts of profit. Because when we're still below, let's be honest, man. That ain't nothing to write home about. And it's going to go higher. That's why I didn't take for a lot of my altcoins, I didn't take profit last cycle. It's because they all stayed below. But they're not going to stay below forever. The longer they're suppressed, the higher the return. I like to take most of my profits out when we're in blue sky. But like I said, man, you got to know what you believe in. What projects do you really, really believe in? You believe them to the point where you could ride it through the bear market. And other ones where you're I don't believe in like that. I know I will drop it on the bottom. This is a cash grab. Those are the ones I suggest start taking first. You should rank your coins. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you guys generalities because I know not everyone's different, right? Some people want numbers, but to do numbers specifically, you kind of have to know how high it's going to go. And that's the problem. No one knows how high it's going to go, but you should scale out. Scale out for sure. There is that 40% probability of a rising wedge to break upward, as we have seen in many alts, even Bitcoin. So can't rule that out in this environment. Watch closely. I mean, it's possible. Is it 40%? I think that's kind of high, no? I don't think that's 40% probability. I think it's less than that. But just based off of this, look at the overall. This is a descending triangle, right? That's typically downwards. This is long-term resistance over the past, 8 years? Then lower highs. You know what I mean? Pretty sure it might go down. Probably gonna go down. But, that's the problem. That's the difficulty in navigating crypto. Nothing's for sure, right? We didn't get a euphoria phase last time. And people thought that was for sure. So that's true. You don't need to be all in alts, but in order to navigate a market correctly, you have to make a call. Right? It's when you sit on the fence all the time is when you don't make any profits. At some point, you have to make a call and say, I think this is going to happen. That's where the money's made. So I've made my call. I'm confident that Bitcoin dominance will drop. And the reason I think that is I think they're going to open up some ETFs. I think they're going to open up some ETFs and people are going to get their money in. And you think about it. The longer the altcoin market is around, the more money will eke into it. Because unless Bitcoin is going to act as everything in the economy, and it's not even acting like digital cash. Let's be honest. It's not even doing what it was written to do in the white paper. It's digital gold. So as long as it's going to be digital gold, that means there has to be other cryptos that are going to be used in this economy to service us correctly. Unless we're just going to go back to some lame barter system, I don't know why they get everyone addicted to mortgages and credit and yield when we're just going to revert back to the barter system 100%. But hey, that's just me. 12 people, what's good? Rising wedge, 60% chance down, 40 up. Falling wedge, 68 to 32 down. Thomas Bullock stats, just sharing. Interesting. We'll see. RSI says it's more oversold than overbought, but you guys know my thoughts on that one. 13 people, what's good? So yeah, that's what it is. We have a couple more videos here if you guys are interested. Let's go ahead and check them out.
When we got that phone call yesterday that our 19B4 had been approved and our S3 had been deemed effective, it was almost an out-of-body experience.
You knew it was coming.
I think we knew it was coming. We were optimistic. We were steadfast in our conviction around this. But this is really the culmination of 10 years of work. Investor support, the Grayscale team, everybody's been working tirelessly towards this outcome.
Okay, so what does this fundamentally mean, though, for Grayscale?
It means it's the beginning of having GBTC trade on the New York Stock Exchange, right? We've now have a whole family of investment products that have been following a very prescribed life cycle from private placement now all the way to ETF. GBTC is the first of those products to do that. And now the rest of the Grayscale family of products can start to move along that continuum as well.
Question, though. You were a monopoly of sorts prior to this, which was if you wanted access to Bitcoin, not owning it directly, but in the form of a fund, if you will.
Yep.
You were the only way to do it. Now you're going to have to compete against 10 plus others, many of which are going to try to do it at a much lower fee schedule than you do.
Yep.
What is that going to do?
Well, we've been prepared for a world in which there are multiple spot products. GBTC has certainly been the product that has forged the path for all of these other issuers to come to market. Our court victory, our guts, our operations, our disclosures, our work with the SEC. Investors should have choice, but GBTC is coming to market in a very differentiated way. It is going to be, as of this morning, the second largest spot commodity ETF in the world. It has $28 billion of assets under management. And other issuers may try and differentiate on fees. For GBTC, it's about size, liquidity, and track record.
So one of the things, actually, I don't know if you saw, Anthony Pompliano was on the broadcast earlier in the 6 o'clock hour, and he made an interesting point, given that your fees are going to be materially higher than a BlackRock or just about almost everybody else.
Yeah.
He said, look, these guys may not need to go after new money. They just need to keep the money they've got and maybe even build upon that with other ETFs and other funds. Is that the strategy that you're pursuing, or is there something else going on?
Well, I think we're certainly focused on building the ecosystem around GBTC. So, for example, GBTC trading on the OTC market since 2015 never had listed options, right? Now that it trades on NYSE, you can now see the development of an options market around GBTC. So you really can see how investors can continue to compile their Bitcoin exposure around a market-leading product like this.
What's the distinction between me going off and buying the BlackRock fund versus buying yours?
It's about the asset manager that's behind it. We're a crypto specialist. We've weathered all different types of speed bumps and advancements within the crypto ecosystem. For a lot of these asset managers and issuers, this is the first time they're going to be dealing with the complexities that go into running these types of products.
But you don't think BlackRock's up to the challenge?
You know, I'm not going to speculate on how well other asset managers will or won't navigate that. But what I can say is that over these last 10 years, we have learned countless times through countless cycles that this is not a straightforward process.
Why are your fees higher? 1.5% versus 0.2% for a lot of them.
I think that you know, Becky, we've talked about fees. We promised investors we'd lower fees. We did. We've reduced by 25%. You have countless examples across the ETF space where you have category leaders that are not the lowest cost option.
No, but Michael, when you look at the screen, we just put up the fees for everybody across the board. You are significantly multiples higher than everybody else out there. Why?
Yes, because GBTC has differentiated characteristics. There are no assets in these other products. They're starting from zero. And GBTC, again, has that market-leading liquidity. It traded over $650 million notionally yesterday alone.
I know, but BlackRock is like the biggest of the big. If you're just looking about liquidity and where you have things backed up, like what, I'm really curious. Make the case for me why I should pay 1.5% versus 0.2%.
Well, we certainly did a lot of research around this. The market in the U.S. is just starting today. If you look at other geographies around the world, you have seen products that have fees that carry anywhere from 125 basis points to even 175 basis points, whether that's in Europe, Canada, elsewhere. So there are market precedents for crypto products as well.
Jeez. Well, they came after him, but hey, see, now we're starting to see fees, and it's a lot of money. It doesn't affect like small purchases, but when you put in millions, billions of dollars, because we don't know how much is going to pour into here, those things kind of matter. Grayscale, I mean, I've always been a fan of Grayscale. You know, they really did start the whole traditional money owning or getting exposure to Bitcoin through their GBTC, which was a trust. Transferred it over to an ETF, which is good. But unfortunately, I think they might lose some market share. I mean, she was kind of getting at it. But overall net positive for the whole cryptocurrency space, in my honest opinion. What do you guys think? You guys are quiet today. Jeez. Let's see. And there's one more. We'll get into it in a little bit, but it's Novogratz talking about the Bitcoin ETF. But yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out through the next couple months. But it's pretty telling. It's pretty telling to see the altcoin market react in this way. It's really good to see these things move. I've been altcoin heavy for a long time now. Good or bad, right? But this kind of happens like this, guys. Like, altcoin seasons happen in a couple months. It happens fast. They're usually down longer than they're up, but when they're up, it's when you got to capitalize. And usually when altcoins go up is when most people are trying to get in. That's when you have to transition out. See how that goes? The psychology of a market cycle. Blind Dave, late listening. No problem, man. Welcome, welcome. How you been? Yeah, we're just talking a little about the Bitcoin ETF a little bit, catching up on some news. Get ready to people start talking about Bitcoin. It's going to be very interesting. And then we have the halving coming right around the corner. It's going to be very, very hype in my opinion. Let's check out how much time we have left. Give me 1 second. What is going on? There it is. Bitcoin halving clock. 96 days. Almost 3 months, 19 hours, 49 minutes, 41 seconds. We'll have to see. Get out of here. We'll have to see. Will Bitcoin go up? Let me know in the chat. Will Bitcoin go up before that date? Will it go up after that date? What do you guys think? How this is going to play out? You got to understand though. We have a lot of people who've never been in crypto before. They don't know that the supply shock really starts happening after 6 months. So this might be a big buy the rumor, sell the news event coming up. Because they don't know. They just know that Bitcoin annualized over time makes 124%. We just looked at it. And I'll show you for the new people who just came in here. Bitcoin's price performance compared to major assets. This was released by BlackRock against most of their other assets. They're advertising it as about 124% annualized over time. Little do their investors know that that is annual over the lifetime of Bitcoin. There are times when Bitcoin is down a lot, but you see how they're marketing it. It's the obvious choice. The biggest competitor to that percentage-wise is SPX at 13%. So effectively, Bitcoin makes about 112% more than their closest performing asset. That seems like a no-brainer to me. Blind Dave thinks before. Oh, yeah. And I mean, that kind of lines up with the 2013 pattern. Then I went check it out on the replay. I talk about 2013 and how it kind of is more similar to now than 2017, which is much more consistent, much more clean, and much more prolonged. Up 300% since cycle low. It's moving up pretty aggressively. I think we might see a blow off. It's just harder to navigate blow offs because you really don't know how high this thing's going to go. So keep your eyes on Bitcoin's chart. Watch it like a hawk. Be engaged because I have a feeling that this thing isn't going to last as long as most people thought. A lot of people in the crypto space, and I'm in the crypto space like all day, every day, they were thinking previously before all this happened, 2025 is going to be the year. I'm not quite sure about that. Think 2024 might be it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And I talked about it before. Jonathan Cohen, I think is his name, talks about the extending cycles. I used to be a fan of the 4-year cycle. I was not impressed with the last 4-year cycle. I'm now of the opinion that the last 4-year cycle is now more like a 6-year cycle. They're getting larger. It makes sense because the money involved is much greater. So when you think about it like a body of water, you could pick up a bottle of water and throw it across the room. But it's hard to pick up a pool of water. It's much heavier. It's harder to move it. It sloshes around. It's very synonymous to money. That's why they call it liquidity. 18 people, what's good? But yeah, man. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Let's listen to Master Novogratz real quick and his take on it.
One of these things actually decide.
So I think in the long run, you're going to have 2 or 3 that actually win. I don't think it'll just be one winner. It'll be a couple winners. We have a ETF in Canada with CI Group, and we started second. We were second place, and now we're the largest ETF. And I looked last year at tracking error, because all you really care about as an investor is, does this thing track Bitcoin? We were less than 1% tracking error. Our largest competitor was 11%. And so all ETFs are not created equal. So what goes into that? It's your execution, it's your liquidity, it's the hidden fees, right? And so we think we've done this before. We've done it in Germany, we've done it in Canada, we've done it in Brazil. We know how to run a cash trade ETF.
So when people say something could go wrong, that's what you're talking about.
It's tracking error. Listen, today is going to be chaos, right? Because you've got 13 sales forces trying to pull in money. You've got Grayscale, this giant that lots of people are going to be redeeming from. And so at the end of the day, at 2:30, when you put in your redemptions and your creates, there's going to be
You just
massive.
said there's going to be a lot of people redeeming at Grayscale. Why do you say that?
Listen, people bought Grayscale at a 30%, 40%, 50% discount to NAV, and with Bitcoin far lower. And so the chance to now get out at par, they're going to do that.
And Mike, before today, if you decide to buy Bitcoin, you had to be sort of ready to do some things. It's a lot of, I mean, you know the resistance I'm talking about from the average person. And they're everywhere. And I'm not going to mention any names, but they're everywhere. People that would never do it. You had to open a Coinbase account, or you had to get your own wallet, or you had to do it. Now it's going to be really easy to do it with $10,000. I mean, to put up 50 to buy a Bitcoin, that's almost not an institutional person, but someone with a lot of conviction. If anyone could buy 10 grand worth right now, and Kathy Woods says it's going to 750,000. So people are going to put 10 grand in and have 150,000 in a couple of years. That's too easy. I think you could make a case that the people that had the nerve to do it and step out and not be part of the pack that just were anti-Bitcoin, they've already made their money. Now, not everyone else is going to get rich now. It's too late.
Listen, the earliest adopters always get richest, and so in that.
You think it's going to 750? You can buy it now.
Her lips to God's ears. I do think over time, this will continue to appreciate. Do I think it's going to 750 in the next year, 2 or 3 years? No, I don't. I hope it doesn't, quite frankly, because if it does, it means the U.S. economy.
Novogratz got a tattoo of Luna on his arm, though, so.
I just think the institution.
Take that a grain of salt.
The institutions are in. Now it's going to be the bag holders.
What I think you're missing is this is a limited supply asset. We don't have a lot of limited supply assets. And there are a lot of people that believe in this like a religion, so they're not selling.
That's right.
And so
70% won't sell. So where's it come from?
And so you're going to drive price up as you get more adoption.
Short term, do you say to yourself, there's a whole bunch of people who've bought in the last 3-4 months waiting for this day to come? Do they sell into this?
Yeah,
do they hold?
I think today we could literally see 50,000 and 40,000 trade. We're going to see a lot of volatility today. Traditionally, ETFs mark the high, the short-term high, right? Almost every one of them has come out. Then there's a sell-off, and then there's the rally.
I imagine we're going to start seeing advertising, maybe on CNBC, maybe in the Wall Street Journal and other places.
It's coming.
Because all of these
marketing
folks who have
campaigns.
these ETFs are desperately going to need customers.
Yes. So listen, Invesco did a call in Asia with 90 salespeople last night. I imagine the other 13 ETF providers are doing the same thing. And so Bitcoin has always been about adoption, right? You've sold Bitcoin, you haven't bought it, right? You had to convince people. We call it orange pilling, hence my beautiful jacket.
Which fits. So you had the orange jacket, but you didn't have glasses that didn't have a little safety pin in
My Warby Parker's broke, but I got some new ones
on the way. Because you must have. I've seen.
That was about a week
ago. I've seen blue glasses. I've seen you in all kinds of crap. You don't have glasses that you don't need a safety pin.
I go through glasses faster than most people go through coffee.
But you got the orange, and it fits. See, none of my jackets fit as well as they used to.
Can you speak to the idea of consolidation among these players? You know, one of the things we were thinking about even around Grayscale. Is that a company that ultimately, given their fee structure and the like, and given how many customers they have, that could actually be a valuable group of customers, maybe to somebody else?
I can't get in their heads why they put their fees 5 times higher than everyone else's.
Right.
My guess is that
they hate that.
ETFs broadly get sold by RIAs, and you got to go through Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, and it's a huge ODD process, due diligence process. My guess is Grayscale saying we're not going to clear that hurdle for all the reasons in our past, and therefore we're going to hold on to our assets as long as we can. And there's a lot of people that won't sell because of tax.
So they're just milking it down for the clients who are there?
That's my bias. I could be wrong, and I'm not.
Where do then you put a Fidelity or BlackRock in all this?
I think there's going to be a war between Invesco, Fidelity, and BlackRock, those three, and because they have those institutions.
And so what does it take to win? I mean, are some of these guys going to have to lose money for the next couple of years to make it work?
Listen, there's not a whole lot of.
I don't think BlackRock's going to lose.
So for the consumer and the institution,
they're too big.
This is an amazing product. And I think who's going to have the best tracking error? We think BTCO is going to have the best tracking error.
So the market cap's $1 trillion, to give it. It's $950 billion for Bitcoin. How much does the ETF universe aggregate And what percentage of what does it even move the needle on 950 billion?
It does, because it's the marginal money that comes in.
That you got to buy from the people who don't want to sell.
Prices are always set on the margin.
And people don't want to sell.
And people don't.
Hodlers.
Listen, Europe in the first 3 days of this week issued $108 billion of bonds. 3 days. It wasn't even Wednesday afternoon. It was $108 billion of bonds. Governments around the world are issuing too much debt. They're printing too much money, and that's why Bitcoin is going up. So when we step back, this is a historic day because the U.S. government, kicking and screaming, Mr. Gensler, right, I don't think really wanted to do this.
Yeah, why?
Said you can now buy
at
Bitcoin.
all. Oh, they cut him off right before he went in on the U.S. government. But look, guys, it's gonna be a fight. But like, I don't see Invesco beating BlackRock. Do you? Fidelity, maybe. I mean, they got a lot of like 401ks and stuff, but BlackRock, they're humongous, biggest asset manager in the world. Finally in on this thing. I have a feeling I know who's gonna win. I'm preaching to the choir. I know none of you are gonna buy it because you might as well just buy Bitcoin. I mean, this thing is inferior to Bitcoin. But if this is the way everyone needs to first get their toe in the water on Bitcoin, I'm with it. What say you? 2024 gonna be the year of HBAR, bro. It's the blue chip crypto. Hey, like now that we see, and just a little bit about that on HBAR, I talked about it a little bit before about alternatives to blockchain. There's differences between public and private chains. Right now that blockchain has been blessed and legitimized by this Bitcoin ETF, you're gonna see companies become more open to using blockchain in their infrastructures. But most companies that have any IP at all don't want to use public blockchains. I can't blame them. Those things are worth, like, count towards their net worth. Their patents, things like that. Blockchain's all about being transparent. It makes sense to be transparent in some ways, but if you're Boeing, that has the next, or I guess Northrop, that has the next design for the next stealth bomber, you don't want people seeing all up in your stuff. You have to maintain a level of transparency. Your customer will demand that. I used to work in defense and aerospace. They demand that you make it opaque and not seeable because you don't want other countries getting blueprints, getting all this stuff. So private blockchains will be used, and there's going to be a big, big market for it. It's all about the use case. So we'll see. And then I think that's why HBAR is connected up with LG, Banco Santander. I haven't looked in a while. Boeing. A lot of them. Google, because they deal in data and designs. Last cycle wasn't as exciting as 2017. I don't think we can ever break the 4-year cycle, maybe longer or shorter bull and bear periods, but you can't negate the halving and its effect on the market. No, you can't, but hear me out on this. From 2012 to 13 and 2010 to 12 or whatever the hell it was, that wasn't a 4-year cycle. So we have seen deviations in the length of these things. That was shorter than a 4-year cycle. From Bitcoin's release to the first blow-off was much shorter than 4 years. So we have seen deviation on those cycles. We have. We can't forget about that. Now, I understand people's willingness to want to find some normalcy in this because it just feels better, right? It feels better to have normalcy when, instead of saying everything's up to chance. But while we've had a smaller cycle, I think it's okay to admit that there's potential it could be a longer cycle. And Bob Lucas talks about the potential of it being a very long cycle because these people are going to get in crypto and they're going to pump this thing up pretty high, I think. The higher it goes and the worse to come down, it's people's life savings. Now it's their 401ks, it's their pensions. So if they get wrecked to death, how long will it be before they recover psychologically, financially, and have enough money to jump back in? So you got to remember that. How horrible would this next crash be? That has a lot to do with how long this stuff is. Now, Bitcoin, for the most part, will continue to reduce its supply. I agree with you. But in order for Bitcoin to go up, there has to be an incentive to get in, right? So we'll see what happens. But let's not forget, guys, last cycle wasn't as exciting. We pretty much missed the whole entire euphoria phase, except for AI, metaverse, Bitcoin and a few other like FTX and Luna and stuff. It was very selective. That's not a euphoria phase to me. I feel like we missed the whole euphoria phase. So even last cycle was different. So I think we need to admit that there are some complexities to these cycles we're not 100% grasping. You know, but we'll see. I mean, time tells all. It's hard to figure out what's exactly happening when you're in the middle of it. You're always kind of a little confused. So is everybody. And whoever like acts they know exactly what's happening, they're lying. We don't know exactly what's happening. We have an idea. I would love the 4-year cycle to have played out exactly how it was supposed to last cycle. Didn't. So we'll have to see. I'll be here. We'll check it out together. A farmer friend of mine leads the AI development team for BlackRock. Evil stuff. That's why he's a former friend. Farmer. Tell us, man. Are you serious? What are they working on over there? Crazy crap are they working on? Give us alpha. Man. I like talking about that stuff too. But you know, it might be a little too weird for this channel. I might have to go on a Rumble for that. The halving is every 4 years, so when you say longer or shorter cycle, what do you mean exactly? Blow off top. The supply is one side of things, like the emission of coins, right? The reduction of coins over time that happens every 4 years. But if you look at 2010 to 12 or 13, like the blow off top didn't happen right on the 4-year mark, right? So that's what I'm explaining, right? From bear market to like blow off top bull market. That's the cycle. Now, if you're talking about like Bitcoin's halving cycle, yes. No, I'm not talking about the halving cycle. That's baked into the code. But I think like the main thing is everyone and their mom is trying to figure out exactly how Bitcoin moves so they get it down to a science so they stop getting wrecked. But it's funny that Bitcoin always wrecks people every cycle because Bitcoin does something different every cycle. Every cycle it does something different, slightly. In 2017, big boom, big blow off, come down real fast. 2017, very steady, bull shape, predictable. 2021, one big blow off, marginally high compared to what Bitcoin typically does, and then bear market. Have you noticed that it's not exactly different, but it's not exactly the same. And I think that's where Bitcoin is so profitable for few and painful for many. Interesting. They develop AI to predict market movements in detail. Yeah. There's a whole documentary on that. I forgot what it was called. They have a system where it basically predicts in real time, like based off of factors, what's happening in different markets. It gives a suggestion on what it does, and I think it executes by itself too. See, that's the crazy part though. We've basically removed, at the highest levels of trading and money management, we've removed the human element out of it, right? So back in the day, you used to have stockbrokers on the floor. They would put orders in, they would sell, they would do this, they would do that. Now we have bots, algorithmic trading, just back and forth, really fast, doing thousands of trades a minute, whatever they're doing to maximize profit. It's very short term. They're programmed to sell at certain spots. But if something drastic happens, you can see how like the markets could collapse because it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. This bot triggers a sell, this bot triggers a sell, it cascades down. We have AI we don't really know what it's doing because it's smarter than us. How do we know what it's doing? It's just kind of insane to think about that we rely on this economy to provide all of the modern niceties that we have to sustain our lives, right? We have power, we have water, we have indoor plumbing, we have heating, we can control our environment, we can do all these things, we have agriculture, we have cattle, but they're all connected up to the financial system, right? The water stops flowing if you don't pay your bill. Right? It's very fragile. And to remove at the very source of what our whole economy runs on, we put a machine that you're not completely in control of. That's pretty dangerous in my opinion. Maybe I'm old. I'm probably old. Damn. Bam. We talked that. Yeah, guys, I like to talk about AI too. I like to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff because I think that all of these things are really tied together. I mean, I put out some shorts about Bitcoin being potentially used in interplanetary commerce, and everyone's like, you're a stoner. But these are things I really think about, big picture things, the things that probably won't affect me in my lifetime. But you have to see where things are going. You have to zoom out, high level, and look around and say, that technology fits with this technology, fits with that technology. And the three technologies I see that fit perfectly hand in hand, actually four, is quantum computing, robotics, AI, and cryptocurrency. So AI is the robot mind, right? It's be able to think for itself. It's kind of sentient. Robotics is the robot body, of which the mind goes into. The mind moves the body autonomously, so it doesn't require human input. Cryptocurrency is the money that people can pay robots to do tasks. That money will probably be deposited into the owner of the robot's wallets. And to go even further, robots can even pay other robots to do tasks. That's crazy. And at the very end of it, quantum computing, while a lot of people think quantum computing could ruin Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I see it as a way to enable cryptocurrency transactions to happen at vast distances, like across light years. Because the thing about quantum computing is when you quantum entangle a particle, one particle that moves on one side of the universe moves at the exact same time, completely synchronized on the other side of the universe. Basically meaning whatever happens on this computer over here happens on that computer. There is no time elapsing in between sending like the message across the universe. So like, I see this coming. It's just very far away. So when you think about it, the rise of cryptocurrency has to happen first. Because first, humans need to do commerce with these sentient robots that we're making. Haven't you guys seen the news? Maybe I should cover more of this, but like people are losing jobs. There's actually fully automated McDonald's now that use just robots. It's getting pretty wild, y'all. Getting pretty wild. But okay, guys, that was fun. I do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you're new, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I always love it when the family gets bigger. I do this at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until next time, y'all, talk to you later. Peace.